Are you full of anticipation? I mean, it is clearly a new era in English cricket, mate. What have you thought so far? I know it's not a lot of time, we haven't seen any play, but how have you thought the two guys have handled press conferences and the media?
No, I think they've been very, very good. I think they've been excellent the way they've spoke. Simple, very simple message. I think there's going to be a very simple game plan. I think they're going to try and create an environment which is hopefully to be as relaxed as you possibly can in the international sort of heat of the sort of cauldron and goldfish bowl that you get with international sport, and try and get each and every individual to go back to where their sort of youth is and where the love for the game came from, and try and express themselves as freely as they possibly can. And that's how Brendan played his cricket when he played. I hear a lot of talk about, that it's going to be a great time. We're going to be sixes and fours, and because it's Brendan McCullum. But I think you've got to remember this guy's not going to be able to bat for you. He's not going to be able to play for you. He's going to hopefully drive a message which is to make the environment as comfortable and as relaxed, and try and take some pressure off these guys who have found it tough, let's be fair, in the last 18 months, and make that environment as good a place it possibly can be to hopefully, fulfill the skills that, undoubtedly we've got some talented players who've just been making some bad decisions over the course of the last 18 months.
Harmy, you touched on it there. I mean, how does he go about it? Because effectively, how do we start getting runs at the top of the order? I know Anderson and Broader so you'd have to say, I'd like to ask your opinion on that. In my opinion, it's a good thing. Clearly, age has got nothing to do with it. If they've got the ability, they should be in the squad. But how does he, transfer confidence and ability to get his runs at the top of the order?
I think he tries to get the subject, whoever it is, whether it's Alex Lees, Zach Crawley, Ollie Pope, 1, 2, 3, to just play their own game and feel comfortable in the environment that even if they make a mistake. And I think this is the biggest point, especially for something like Zach Crawley. If you can make the environment as comfortable as you possibly can for him and set the mind, get them over to him mindset-wise, that if his right shoulder's coming in and technically he's not feeling the best, he's still got to go out and find a way of being able to score runs. And sometimes that is, going against Brendan McCullum's way of thought, which is, just to rein it in a little bit, just absorb the game, take the sting out of the game, and then the more and the longer you're there, then you can play the big expansive drives. And I think it's more the feel of the game rather than the technical side that McCullum will probably give to these top order players. And I think when you talk about freedom, it's about making an individual comfortable in the surroundings he's in to go out and play the best he possibly can, and make him feel free that there's no pressure on you when you're going out. You feel as though that when they just see the ball and you hit the ball. And I think that is something that I think this new regime will give to the top order batsmen. Hopefully that they can like I said before, fulfill the skills, because it's not about Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. As much as anybody says, the greatest two players that we've ever introduced are back, it's not about them. That's not, because for 18 months, whether it's been Broad or Anderson or whoever's been bowling for England, we've been able to take 20 wickets or be able to compete with the ball. The problem we've had is, like Stuart Broad said in Australia, we can't win cricket matches if we keep getting bowled out for 200.
One win in 17, it kind of tells you the situation that England find themselves coming into this in terms of test matches. It's still a very familiar looking test side with those sort of familiar names, but there is a debutant in there, in Matt Potts. What can we expect from him? I know Jimmy Anderson has spoken about Lords being one of the most daunting places to make your debut, but equally it's wonderful if you can achieve something great like he did in his debut, that fifer that he had against Zimbabwe. But what can we expect from someone like Matt Potts? I
think looking at Matt Potts, he works tirelessly hard on his game. He's a very, very strong boy, northern lad, so he don't mind getting sort of the bit between his teeth and working really, really hard. And I've been so impressed with him so far this year. And I think Ben said yesterday, the sort of final thing in his mind why he played him was against Glamorgan on a flat pitch. He ran in and he did what he needs to do in international. What he need to do in international cricket, which is when nothing's happening, the captain's going to throw you the ball and you're going to have to try and make something happen because you're the quick bowler. And that's happened on more than one occasion this year for Durham. So they're picking a player in form, which is great. And like I said before, he's somebody who, speaking to Neil Killeen last night on the phone, one of my sort of best mates in life, not just in cricket, who's Durham's coach, who, to be fair, should be England's bowling coach, because if you look at the players that he brought through, the likes of Wood and Carser's in the one-day squad, Potts, Stokes, that's coming through. He's sort of coached them all to the sort of three lions. And I think one thing that Neil said last night, he said that that he's worked so hard to get here. He'll make full use of his talent when he gets here. So fingers crossed that Matt Potts has a good day, and it's something that England need. It just gives them something different in the attack that they've got.
How do you calm the nerves then?
You can't. Simple. You can't. Natalie.
Yeah.
You can't. That's Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad's job this morning. If England lose a toss, it's cracked. The sun's out. So I'd imagine if Ben wins a toss, he bats first on a wicket which will offer something early on, and using the slope. You can use the elements, but I would imagine they'll bat first. And if they don't bat first, they do bowl first, and Broad and Anderson take the new ball. I think Potts in early, but I think what you'll find with Anderson and Broad, they will have to take the pressure off.
Just quickly, because I know, Ali, you want to come in with a question there. You say about winning the toss, and obviously that makes a difference to whether or not Potts gets hold of the ball early or not. What is best? Would you rather just get out there and bowl? You
want to get out there and bowl?
As soon as
you want to get it out of the way.
You don't want to be sitting there for
No,
days.
you don't
if you
really.
have to.
But on the other hand, you can sit there and take in the atmosphere. And he could have played against Middlesex a couple of weeks ago for Durham, and he didn't play. And he had a grueling first 6 weeks of the season to get him into the position that he's in now. And I thought he could have played for Durham because he would have gotten Lords when 1,500 people were in, as opposed to 15,000 people were in. So, look, it's going to be a great occasion for him. I personally wanted to be out there. Let's get out there and get the game started. And once I get to lunchtime, my nerves will be set, and I'll be back to playing the way I have been playing for Durham in that mindset. But it's going to be a great occasion for the young man.
Harmy, tell me about your own day today at Lords. You'll obviously be looking forward to it, and by the sounds of things, you'll be able to stretch those big long legs of yours out, because there's 16,000 of reading unsold tickets. By the way, so you'll find yourself a comfy position, I would think. Mate.
I will. I'm not there for the whole day. I'm smartly dressed, and I'm not going to say why just yet. Man, I'll come back on a bit later on. But I'm going over to Lords. I'm coming back to commentate on the West Indies Holland. From about 10:30, but I'm
You've
going
got a role there, have you?
I've got a little role that I'm going over for, but I'm not. I'm going to tease you. I'll come back on the show later on if I can. I'll tell you what's
something you said there, Harmy. It was
Yeah.
something you said there. Just to reiterate there, did you say you were smartly dressed?
I am smartly dressed. Yeah.
And who's made that? Is it you think you're smartly dressed, or does Natalie think you're smartly dressed? Who is it?
I mean, he's wearing a blue shirt. He's got
Indeed
his smart
thinks you're smartly
trousers
dressed.
Ali, I've not had a smart suit on for a while. It took me a while to jump off the wardrobe to get into it after COVID.
Good on you, mate. Well, I hope you have a brilliant day, pal. We're looking forward to speaking to you later on,
Yeah,
mate.
so am I. And it's going to be a great occasion, not just for the North East, because a new captain from Durham, a new player from Durham, but the sun's shining, and when the sun shine on Lords, it's a wonderful, wonderful occasion.
But as Ali just made out, though, that there is around 16,000 unsold tickets. How disappointing is that? And that was obviously down to ticket prices.
Yes.
They're quite extortionate.
I personally think it's a disgrace. I really do. I think the world we live in at this minute in time, I see tickets for under 16s at £130. I think it's crazy. I think it's. Do you know what? The cricket sometimes kicks itself between the legs every now and again, and this is the one time. Me and Matt Pryor had a great discussion with Alex Tudor in the West Indies series about being cricket being exclusive to certain types of people. And unfortunately, this week, it's actually been proven.
Yeah.
It's been proven, and from a working class background in the North East, you're going to have a guy from the North East from a working class area in Cockermouth kind of lead the team. You've got a young man from Washington, a coal mining town from Ashington. It disgusts me when I see the prices that have, and unfortunately, we can't, as cricketers, you can't do anything about authorities that sometimes put the game down a bit. But unfortunately, the arrogance of whether it's the MCC or whoever who have done this, it's not on. It's definitely not on.
It's cheating fans, isn't it, really?
Absolutely.
And when you're looking for a full house because of this Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes being in charge for the first time, it's sad to think 16,000
It's a school holiday as well.
Holidays.
You know, £40 for a parent and child ticket to go and watch
dream,
a team that's only won 1 in 17. I think you would have gotten a lot of great will from the cricketing public. Unfortunately, the arrogance of cricket comes to the fore again.
Like we say, hopefully we'll speak to you a little bit later and you'll let us know what you're teasing
Yes.
us about, your role at Lords to come a little bit later on. But Steve, thank you for being with us.
You're not making a comeback, are you?
You're joking. No, I tell you what, Ali, they definitely have not got a shirt to fit me on that one.